Toyota is smashing production records. While they double down on EV investments, their suppliers are even making money hand over fist at this point, and news coming out of China is suggesting that Toyota is thinking about doing the Tesla Giga Press. Welcome back to the channel. If you're hopeful that availability is improving for Toyota vehicles, make sure to smash the like button. Not only are their sales looking pretty good, over 1 million just for the month of March, which is up about 2.4%. The market in Japan is thriving, and that wasn't the case during COVID. I don't know if it was a lockdown, so they just weren't producing a lot of vehicles, but check out the turnaround in Japan. Their sales are up 27%. Sales outside of Japan are down over 4%, which doesn't sound good from the American perspective. Inventory's been strapped ever since probably 2021, and it looks like it's going to continue, even though they're producing at record rates. But the production uplift is mainly coming from Japan. We don't really get any Japanese Toyota vehicles unless they are like the RAV4 Prime, the Venza/Harrier, the Crown. All those are super low volume. I think the GR86 as well, but the rest of them come from the Lexus lineup, like the NX plug-in hybrid. You have the IS, rest in peace GS, the LS, LC. You also have the GX and the LX. I don't know if I said LX already. And the UX. So a lot of them are still coming on the Lexus side from Japan, but that doesn't matter because overall outside of Japan, and I'm wondering what it is here in the United States, because it might actually be lower than this. And this has been a trend that's going on, because if we look at Toyota here, production inside of Japan, 3 consecutive months of year-over-year increase. But production outside of Japan is 2 consecutive months of year-over-year decrease. Now, this goes back to an article Jack Hollis was talking about. He said the first half of the year would be a little bit behind the first half of the year compared to 2022. But he said the second half of the year is going to be guns blazing, and Toyota should be breaking records in terms of production and sales globally, including here in the United States. So, man, can't wait for the second half of the year. Speaking of availability for my vehicle I'm waiting on, the Prius Prime, at least for Florida, like there's almost 180 dealers somewhere around there, and there's less than 20 Prius Primes allocated to my area for the first batch. So I could be waiting years for a Prius Prime at this point. I hope not, but we'll see. But I guess this is some good news. Toyota so far has sold 17,000 plus battery electric vehicles worldwide, including the RZ, in the first 3 months of 2023. Last year, in the totality of 2022, they sold 24,000 battery electric vehicles. They still have to ramp up about 60 times their battery electric vehicles from 2022 to 2025, I think is what it is, to get to 1.5 million vehicles. So we're going to go over to this article from Nikkei Asia. Toyota supplier, $740 million additional battery investment backing the bold EV target. And this boosts production capacity by more than 40%. Okay, so there's that 1.5 million. It's not 2025, it's 2026, but that's 62 times than the 24,000 it sold last year. Will they be able to do this? I think so, but it's just so hard to imagine going from nothing to 1.5 million in like 4 years. All right, so Toyota's pumping this money into their joint venture with Panasonic called Prime Planet Energy Solutions. It's their newest joint venture with Panasonic, and this will enhance battery production at the Hyogo prefecture in western Japan. And this will add a few thousand more employees. So I pulled it up. Here we go. Here's where Toyota City here is, specifically Motomachi plant, where they build their battery electric vehicles for now. Like it's a very fluid situation on the future of Toyota's battery electric vehicles. But what do I have going on? Let's zoom out real quick. Is in Himeji. You just zoom in and you see this Panasonic building. So this area right here, these are all solar panels, which is pretty cool. But this whole area right here is going to be where these batteries are being produced for Toyota. I don't expect them to ship them on like semis. They're going to put it on one of these railways here, and it should get there within, I don't know, in a car, it gets there in about 3.5 hours. But on a railway, I have no idea. I would assume it's somewhere around the same time, since they don't have like traffic to deal with, or as much traffic in theory compared to the motorways. But this added production won't start until 2026. And with the latest investment, they'll be able to produce up to 23 gigawatt hours worth of batteries, enough for about 300,000 units of the BZ4X. No one's going to want a BZ4X in 2026. This article mentions BYD and they appear to have an edge. Not only to serve the world's largest auto market, but as they expand production, they contribute to success of made in China batteries. And the Chinese and South Korean markets are investing at a speed not seen before. It's as if they have decided to invest first and search for customers later. And I think this is a good time to switch over to Denso. Denso is Toyota's largest supplier other than Aishin, and they also have a joint venture with Toyota and Aishin with the Blue Nexus. This is where they make all their hybrid powertrains as well as e-axles for their battery electric vehicles, as well as e-axles like the RX 500H that I just drove. But Denso just saw an 86% rise in fourth quarter operating profit on Thursday, benefiting from stronger sales and lockdowns not being much of a problem anymore. But despite things looking on the up and up for Denso, they're still seeing an impact of global chip supply shortages, as well as a stark assessment of the situation in China, where its capacity utilization rate has been lower than originally planned. Competition in China has increased due to the rapid shift to battery electric vehicles, which is posing a challenge for overseas automakers selling combustion engine cars. This was a big topic in the Q&A that I talked about yesterday in Honda's press briefing and their EV strategy. Things aren't looking good for the Japanese automakers in China. They have more inventory. As you look here, Japanese makers have a little bit more inventory of new cars compared to their competition, because the Japanese really don't have any battery electric vehicles on a large scale, and the ones that they have aren't very competitive. And that's a big part of the new car market over in China right now. So this is a good transition to the next article, because it talks about Geely's EV brand Zeekr. I think they're just now getting into Europe, but think of it as like Polestar, but less Volvoized. But they're jumping on the Giga Press bandwagon here. And Tesla does a Giga Press. This allows them to cast the car into much larger pieces so that it is cheaper to produce and easier and faster to produce. And Zeekr just started using a massive aluminum die cast to make larger rear underbody section of the Zeekr 09, 009, or 007, right? I think that's what they're kind of going here. 007 VIP 6-person MPV. And he said this helped Zeekr eliminate 800 welding spots, cut defects, made the car lighter, and boosted its structural stiffness, in turn improving the ride of the MPV, which went on sale in China this year. And Zeekr looks to continue to use this Giga casting technology more and more in the future. XPeng is another EV automaker in China, growing quite fast. I don't know if they're making a profit quite yet. That's the big question mark. Are any of these companies making a profit with the price wars going on over in China? It's interesting to watch. Anyways, they've also adopted a new vehicle platform technology that mimics the way Tesla designs and manufactures electric cars. And the use of these heavy casting machines, dubbed Giga Press, has helped simplify manufacturing and cut costs by up to 40% in some areas. General Motors is looking to use this technology on the Celestiq, which big whoop because it's a low volume vehicle with super high profit margins. I don't know, guys. Would you ever be spending 200 grand on a Cadillac? Let me know below. I just don't see that ending well for them. But here's the thing. Toyota is not in a bubble. Well, at least they're not in a bubble anymore. They're starting to realize they're falling behind, and they have to make massive changes to the company and the way they make cars in order to keep up in China and globally. So here we go. Sources close to Toyota have said that Toyota is considering the possibility of deploying a version of the Giga casting technology to produce EVs. The thing is, we won't see this technology at least until 2026 when they roll out their new EV platform. Now, Volvo, sister company of Zeekr, because they're both owned by Chinese Geely, they are going to have a Giga Press in Torslanda, Sweden, where they make vehicles there as well. And this could be an indication of how fast you can implement Giga Press. So Zeekr looked into the technology in 2020, and now they're implementing it in 2023. So, is it possible to move fast in that? Absolutely. I think that's also indicative, hey, Toyota's looking into it here in 2023. They'll probably implement it in 2026. But there are drawbacks to Giga casting, and that is repairability. Whole body sections could have to be replaced in a small accident, which sounds like a nightmare situation for insurance companies, which also sounds like a nightmare situation for the consumer who has to pay for insurance. And because of these concerns, General Motors and others are looking to embrace ways that do giga casting on a much smaller scale. For example, GM's lower structure combines 6 fairly large castings, include front and rear structures connected to 2 8-foot long castings, which are adhesively bonded and spot welded into a single floor pan. This seems to be the better way to go, absolutely. And will give you a little bit more flexibility with customization and different body types of vehicles. And then back to Toyota here, they've been looking at the possibility of turning of what some companies call small portion giga casting technology, which divides vehicle bodies into smaller castings. So don't think that Toyota will do exactly what Tesla's doing with these big old pieces and they're just going to make 2 or 3 models and call it a day. No, Toyota and General Motors make a variety of vehicles at a massive scale. So they have to be able to have some flexibility with these giga castings. And I think 6 to 8 pieces being giga casted makes a lot more sense. And to cope with repairability of this issue, Zeekr says they'll be able to change select parts of the larger die cast section in the event of a collision, rather than having to replace the whole thing. I guess that makes sense, but would that in theory jeopardize the integrity of that giga casted section? I know the safety laws are a little bit different over there in other parts of the world. He said that would help reduce the repair costs after an accident. We believe customers should not pay extra for technology innovation. So the way cars are being built is drastically changed thanks to Tesla and these Chinese automakers. Here in the early 2020s, it's going to look vastly different about a decade from now, and it's very exciting. So not only is battery technology being worked on and improved on a daily basis, but also how vehicles are put together, the efficiency and the simplicity of them, and then also we have software evolving at a faster rate than we've ever seen before for vehicles anyways. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you made this far, I appreciate you. Hit the like button. I'll catch you guys in the next news update or review. I got the CX-90 that I still have to review. I've been driving it all week. It's been good, but it's not perfect. So I can't wait to share the things that I don't like about it, as well as the things I do like about it, as well as I got a Nissan Frontier. And I freaking love that truck. I'll just say that. All right, I got to end it there. Stay tuned for upcoming news updates as well as car reviews. Take care and peace out.